In November 2025, Iraq once again became the eye of a geopolitical storm. On the surface, it was a democratic event, millions of Iraqis going to the polls to choose their next parliament. But beneath the banners and speeches lies a much deeper story, one that stretches from Washington to Tehran, from Beijing to Moscow, and from Riyadh to the oil fields of Basra. This election is not just about Iraq's future. It is about who truly controls the crossroads of the Middle East and how global powers are silently redrawing the region's map. Chapter 1. The state of a nation. Iraq's democracy was born from the ashes of the 2003 U.S. invasion, a fragile system of sectarian balance that tried to hold a deeply divided country together. 2 decades later, the cracks have widened. Electricity is unreliable, corruption is rampant, and unemployment among young people is staggering. Iraq's population is young, restless, and increasingly angry. Many feel abandoned by both their government and the foreign powers that once promised change. This disillusionment forms the backdrop of the 2025 election, a vote taking place amid fatigue, frustration, and fierce geopolitical competition. Chapter 2. Tehran's shadow for Iran. Iraq is not just a neighbor. It's an extension of its strategic depth. Since the fall of Saddam Hussein, Tehran has invested billions of dollars and decades of effort into cultivating political, religious, and military influence inside Iraq. Through Shia militias, political parties, and cultural ties, Iran has built a web of power that touches every layer of Iraqi life. The Popular Mobilization Forces (PMF), formed during the war against ISIS, are a key part of that network. Officially part of the Iraqi security apparatus, many of its factions answer directly to Tehran. Ahead of the 2025 elections, Iranian-backed parties mobilized their vast networks. They framed the vote as a struggle for sovereignty, but in Tehran's definition, sovereignty means the removal of American presence. Posters in southern Iraq bear slogans calling for an independent Iraq free from occupation, while campaign funds and media coverage flow from Iranian sources. Tehran's goal is clear: ensure that any future government in Baghdad remains within its orbit, politically, economically, and militarily. Chapter 3. Washington's counterplay. The United States, meanwhile, is not ready to give up its foothold in Iraq. For Washington, Iraq remains the linchpin of its Middle East strategy, a counterbalance to Iranian power, a key partner in counterterrorism, and an essential player in regional energy security. In recent years, American diplomats have shifted tactics. Instead of overt military pressure, the U.S. is focusing on political engagement, economic investment, and behind-the-scenes alliances. In 2025, the U.S. quietly backed moderate and reformist candidates, figures who advocate Iraqi sovereignty, transparency, and partnership with the West. Washington's message to Baghdad is subtle but firm: if Iraq aligns too closely with Tehran or Beijing, it risks losing Western aid, investment, and international legitimacy. The CIA and State Department analysts describe the election as a strategic test. Will Iraq choose independence balanced between East and West, or slide further into Iran's sphere of influence? Chapter 4. Beijing's silent entry. While the US and Iran battle openly for influence, a quieter player is making long-term moves: China. Beijing's approach is not ideological, it's economic. Through the Belt and Road Initiative, China has poured billions into Iraq's oil and infrastructure sectors. In 2024, Chinese firms signed massive contracts to rebuild ports, power grids, and refineries, projects that Western companies often avoid due to instability. In return, China secures oil at favorable prices and long-term access to critical resources. Beijing doesn't care who governs Baghdad, as long as the oil keeps flowing and the contracts remain secure. But this economic foothold gives China soft power that could reshape Iraq's orientation in the years ahead. Some Iraqi politicians even see China as a neutral partner, neither occupier nor manipulator, compared to the United States or Iran. Yet analysts warn that China's model often deepens dependency and debt. Iraq's new leaders may find themselves caught between short-term gains and long-term economic subjugation. Chapter 5. Moscow's limited return. Russia, still entangled in the prolonged conflict in Ukraine and facing economic sanctions, has limited capacity in Iraq, but it hasn't disappeared. Moscow continues to sell weapons, offer energy partnerships, and court Baghdad's elites. For the Kremlin, Iraq represents both opportunity and symbolism, proof that Russia is still a player in the Middle East chessboard. Russian oil companies maintain joint ventures in Iraq's north and intelligence coordination